There's great power in prayer, even more in group prayer. This is the foundation of the Unity Movement and our church. Our prayer ministry has close to over 100 active participants supporting our community and the world. There's great synergy in us coming together consistently. Beyond our own personal experience with prayer, there's so much evidence to its impact on the collective consciousness. The Maharishi effect shows that if 1% of the population meditates, it produces measurable improvements in the quality of life for the whole population. The world is going through a lot of change. We must go to the unchanging realm of the divine and help co-create the best outcome for the most impactful event taking place. Let's join together to support this cause. Thank you for joining us. Your presence, your consciousness is summoned for humanity at this time.
Won't you all help us sing along?
Sometimes in our lives, we all have pain, we all have sorrow, but if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. Lean on me when you're not strong. I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Please swallow your pride. If I have things you need to borrow, for no one can fill those of your needs that you won't let show. You just call on me, brother, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. I just might have a problem that you'll understand. We all need somebody to lean on. Lean on me. When you're not strong, I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. You just call on me, sister, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. I just might have a problem that you'll understand. We all need somebody to lean on. If there is a load you have to bear that you can't carry, I'm right up the road. I'll share your load if you just call me. If you need a friend, call me anytime. Won't you call me? Please, please call me. Anything you need at all, day or night. Oh, baby, call me. Won't you please just call me? Yeah, 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 call me.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Unity of the Triangle. Yes, we're right up the road, and we're here for you. This is a place where we go to spiritually deepen and connect with our inherent divine nature. And let's take a minute to connect with everybody here. Turn around and wave and greet all those around you. Hello to everyone tuning in online, watching us through the live stream. We're glad you found us this morning. And today is a special service. You know, normally this time of year, in a non-election year, you have the State of the Union address. Well, today it's the State of Unity, and so we're tightening up the main part of the service and then going straight into our congregational meeting at the end of it, which means we won't be serving refreshments until after all that happens. We promise we won't keep you too long, so it's going to be an exciting day. And, you know, it's with it being kind of Super Bowl season, speaking of which, there's going to be a Super Bowl party here the day of. Be sure to check out the website for that. But we want to get the excitement going here. So on the count of three, let's do a big Go Unity. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Go Unity! And with that, handing it off to Tia and our kids here.
Hello, good morning, everybody. My name is Tia Redman. I'm the youth director here, if you don't already know me, and it is such a pleasure to share the Unity teachings with all of your children. And like you said, we do have a congregational meeting today, so just wanted to let all the parents know that we're going to be keeping the kids upstairs until after the meeting. If for any reason you have to leave or after the meeting, make sure to go upstairs to grab the kids, because that's where they're going to be. So, without further ado, yes, come. Without further ado, let's go ahead and bless our youth. Together, you are the light of the world. Yes, they are. Thank you.
All right, thank you, young people. We're going to go straight away into the welcome song here, so please stand and join us.
Welcome into this place. Welcome into this open vessel. You desire to abide in the praises of your people. So we lift our hands and we lift our hearts as we offer up this praise unto your name. Welcome into this place. Welcome into this open vessel. You desire to abide in the praises of your people. So we lift our hands and we lift our hearts as we offer up this praise unto your name. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. I can feel God's mighty power and God's grace. There's a holy hush around us. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place.
If you would like to grow spiritually while also serving others, come to an informational meeting today where you can learn how to become a prayer chaplain, what's involved, and if this is something that you're called to do. It'll be after the congregational meeting today, about 12:30, up in the meditation room. You do not have to know already how to pray. We teach you that very well. So you don't have to already know how to do that. Many of the people that have gone through this program have said it has changed their lives, and it changed my life. I had never prayed with anybody or hardly prayed myself before coming into this program, and now look where I am, and you can too. So look for this brochure, and we'll see you at 12:30. Now let's pray. We come together as a spiritual community, forming a collective consciousness of one heart and one mind, affirming our oneness with all of creation. With the collective power of intention, we stand in faith claiming the highest spiritual truth that we can hold moment to moment. As we each stand in faith, we raise the consciousness of each other. Knowing love heals us at depth, we open our hearts to receive the love of the divine that is always ready to express in and through us. The divine can do no more for us than can be done through us when we are willing. Our prayers, meditations, and spiritual practices matter and create a wave of love and acceptance that blankets all of humanity. As our hearts swell with gratitude for all of the ways that we support each other on our spiritual journey, we extend this love and support to every name in this prayer box and all those unnamed. With the power of our intention, we rest in the universal flow of life, and so we let it be. Amen.
We'll get by with a little help from our friends. We'll get by with a little help from our friends. We'll get by with little help from our friends.
let's settle in and begin to meditate, allowing the chair to be supportive. And begin to relax the body. And as the body begins to relax, perhaps our breath will be slightly deeper and slower. And we pay attention to the breath. We feel it as it comes and goes. And keeping our mind on the breath, we invite the mind to quiet. As we begin to contemplate our lives, our needs, as we deepen into meditation, perhaps we'll see things we haven't seen before. Let us begin by contemplating what it is to be human. Be intelligent, adaptive, the ability to think and to feel. And all the powers of it is to be a human. Let us contemplate their ability to be multiplied when we work with others, when we love, when we encourage, when we care. Now let us imagine what powers we could unleash as a community. What 100 times 1, or 200 times 1, or 300 or 500 times 1. What intelligence. What adaptability. What presence. What wisdom. What strength. Let us now appreciate communities in our lives and be thankful for the support, the encouragement, the deepening, the comfort, the humor, the belonging they bring us. As we sit together in holy silence, let us contemplate the power of community to support us and allow us to be more than we could be alone. Let us do so in silence.
Give us this day our daily bread. You said you would supply all my needs according to your riches. I have but to ask, and I shall receive. Go from here and share this love you gave to me, to show someone who's lost and help them find their way, the way to truth and faith, so they can be free like me, free like me. Lord, we are your love. Lord, we are your peace. Lord, we are your joy. This day.
I know what could be our theme song. The way y'all sang that first song was really impressive. It is great to be here with you today because today we're really celebrating community. Community is something that you hear the word often, but there is nothing that substitutes for it. If you don't have community, you are an island in the stream, and that is not always comfortable, and it's not even healthy. It leaves us relying so much on our own. It makes us feel doubt. It gives us a sense of separation. It weakens us physically, mentally, and emotionally. So when we're in community, we have the benefits of being with others, and being with others is natural to the human being. You know, over the last few years, especially during COVID, there was a lot of time where we spent with less people around or none, depending on our circumstances. I personally am quite introverted, so I thought it was a great vacation. But I had a secret weapon, which was that I came to church every so often to work with the people here, and there were only 3 to 5 of us at any one time. But it was enough to make me feel like I belonged, I had something to do, that I was important, that people I could laugh with and talk with and maybe even have a meal with. This little cohort that we had here that were doing the videoing and projecting them out, this was my tribe. I'm much happier now that I have a bigger tribe than 5 people to see once a week. That when we come together, I feel that there's a collective power within it. You know, I want to read a couple of Bible passages, but let me just say that if you don't recognize it, it's only for lack of looking. Nothing great ever happened by itself. You know, we make such a story out of the hero, the cowboy that comes in, rides on a horse, has a white or black hat, depending on the season, and he cleans up the town. Go ahead, make my day. But how much of life really works that way? How many times do you actually feel like you get anything done when it's by yourself that is any lasting, long significance? And if you get something done that's of really lasting, long significance, it's for other people. It's not just for yourself. So being a loner is way overrated. And so I'm here to pitch this idea today to you, that this community is a place where you belong, that we have a mission in this world, and that if we will come together and stay together as we have for many years, we can make a significant difference, not only in our own personal lives, but in everybody we meet. Because what the world needs now is love. It's a famous phrase. When you are isolated and alone, or when you feel diminished in your ability to draw on help from others, are you more or less inclined to love freely? Are you more about protection? Are you more defended and hiding? Is it not an amplification from one to the next? Either you're in a community and you're expanding, or you're isolated and you're contracting. Isn't that the way it works? On occasion, you will take time to go off and be monk-like and separate, to get your head together, to do something by yourself just to prove that you're not completely dependent on others. Yes, great. I still believe that's a good idea. But in the end, we are better together. So let me read you a few old sayings from the Bible. 2 are better than 1. This is from Ecclesiastes. 2 are better than 1 because they have a good reward for their toil. For if they fail, one will lift up his fellow. But woe to him who is alone when he fails and has not another to lift him up. Again, if 2 lie together, they keep warm. But how can one keep warm alone? And though a man might prevail against one who is alone, 2 will withstand him. A threefold cord is not quickly broken. Proverbs. A friend loves at all times, and a brother is born for its adversity. What makes your heart happy? A simple question. Many of us might initially say success or money, or maybe it is a single person, or maybe it is having a brilliant idea. But it is my belief, and I think it's true, that when you find a way to love in such a way that it is not greedy, I'll get to what I mean by that in a minute, that it is not tainted by a bargain, when it is not separating in its nature. The Course in Miracles has a lot to say about this, and I would like to draw upon its wisdom. It basically says that most people love with a taint to their love. That essentially they were loving from a sense of separation, and that sense of separation when they love means that they need to get something from the other, that they do it for a reason, and they hope it's reciprocated back. There's a bargain aspect of that. And that separation is increased when we feel as though we're being rejected, or that someone is so special, unlike no other, and you must have them. And while our culture has made love songs the tune that we listen to the most of those love songs are about a special relationship, a relationship in which you could lose or win, and you give, and your heart can be broken, but you're giving in the hope of love returning to you. You're giving in a deal, in essence. And because there's the potential for actually that love turning into hate or anger, it's tainted. It's not pure love. And in a spiritual practice, not just a human practice of loving those who love you, caring for those who might be helpful to you, but in a deep and profound spiritual practice, the movement is away from those bargaining types of love. It's a move toward radiance, where you radiate love in all directions without concern on whom it falls. And you act as God in that moment, shining your light upon the just and the unjust, the beautiful and the ugly, the ones who are friendly and the ones who are not. Your rain falls on the good and the evil. You are a place of haven. Now, for many of us to go from these special relationships which we have venerated in this culture for so long as the most important thing in your life, these special relationships, the practice of which can train us to love more deeply, for sure. But the real spiritual practice is taking love and distributing it wide and easily, giving it freely, not with need for return. And where we do that, we begin to recognize our true nature, that we are indeed living expressions of the One, that we are the divine made manifest in this place, and it is us that are the hands and the feet and the eyes of God. And when we love like that, we begin to sense inside us that we are okay because we are making no discrimination on another. We are making no discrimination on ourselves. When we love so freely, we realize that love is really free and does not come with a price tag and does not require us to make a deal. When we're like that, the sense of peace and acceptance that comes, and I'm not saying that means you will never feel pain or sorrow or loss or sense of any grief. That's not probable. But when we do this, we shift from being little and small to reconnecting with the higher aspect of ourselves. And in that moment, those moments, in those days, in those lifetimes, when that happens, we have come home to who we really are, and there is no gap between us and others or us and God. as the Bible would say, the two main commandments in the Bible. Love God with all your heart, all your soul, and all your might. That's always been a hard one, I think. But love your neighbor as yourself, which may mean that you love your neighbor as you would love yourself. Or it may mean that you love your neighbor because they are yourself, as yourself. Either way. This is the power of shifting from a fascination with separation and emerging our minds back with the deeper truth that we're all in this together. Now, in these years, and I think they may be difficult years for many people, because the past has been difficult for many people. In these years, when the years are difficult, you need a family, you need friends, you need a place to call home, a third place, a place of work, a place of home, and a place to go where people know you. A Cheers, in other words. And wasn't Cheers great to watch? They were teasing each other and pushing and pulling, but they were always going to be friends because they had ceased to see the other as other and accepted them as themselves. And this is what I think this spiritual community can be, a place where we practice that more easily than we might practice it in the general world, maybe at work or on the street. Here, I think we can practice it because we have agreement that this is the way to go and not foolishness. That this is the place where love can be made manifest, where we don't divide to gain power. We don't divide so that we'll feel better about ourselves. We join that we might remember who we really are. That's what this place can be. And I think when we come to it with an intention that we're going to use this place to serve, to give, to love without need for return on our investment, we begin to act as a Christed being. And that's why this place can be the place that allows us to awaken to who we really are. Now, we have lots of things that are going on that are fun. We have lots of things that are deepening. We have lots of things that are spectacular. But it is going to go to waste if we don't actually learn to love without condition. We will have made a better place more fun, but it is when we practice the depth of loving without condition, and it is not easy and does not just fall off the turnip truck, I grant you. But it is a practice that you can do in community in such a way that you deepen into who you really are. And what could be more fun than doing it with people who get you? So that's my pitch. And I came here 23, 22, and 300 years and 300 days ago. It feels like 2 or 3. It feels like 2 or 3 because I believe that is already happening here. I believe that the general mood of this place is, how can I be of service? How can I love? How can I express gratitude to you? How can I be in a community in such a way that I support and become a contributor to it? That has been the general expression here. It's why 23 years feels like 2. And we're going to have this congregational meeting, which is really a pep rally today. I know you've been at some before where we had charts mostly. Well, this time it's different. So that's fun. And I'm going to wrap up here. But I'm inviting you we're going to invite you to be more involved. But I'm also going to advertise the great things that are going on. And then we're going to ask you to consider making a commitment to the church financially. It's been a good year for that. You'll be happy to hear. I always thought when I came here 23 years ago, when I walked into the sanctuary on Whitaker Mill, that this place has a destiny. I think the destiny is for us to awaken to our divine nature in mass and to be so strong in that when people come near us individually or collectively, that they go, oh, this feels better. Because the world is going to be looking for that more and more. The world is not actually spinning upward at the moment. It doesn't appear, right? The part that comes next might not be much fun, but you could be the light of the world. Collectively, we could be the light of the world. And I think if we set that as an intention, our intention, when you set an intention, you set power behind it. It's not a nice idea, it's what you're doing. You're gonna do it. Set the intention that becomes who we are. And whether the world knows about it or not, we can be that. But we're not going to try to keep it a secret either. So let's set our intentions and let us be the light we were always meant to be. Let us pray. Taking a breath and feeling this space and ourselves in it. Let's do a little mind experiment. Extend your consciousness, not just to the edge of your skin, but out. Becoming a larger being by doing that. And becoming sensitive to what is at a distance. Extend your field to include this room. And now as a microcosm, let us realize that everything in this room is in your consciousness. Everything in this room is in your consciousness. At first you came in as though you were separate, when in fact this place is inside of you. Let us love this place and all that's in it as you love yourself. And so it is. Amen.
Love is but a song we sing, fear's the way we die. You can make the mountains ring or make the angels cry. Though the dove is on the wing, we may not know why. Come on, people now, smile on your brother. Everybody get together, try and love one another right now. Some will come and some will go, we shall surely pass. The spirit that has left us here shall return at last. We are but a moment's sunlight fading in the grass. So come on, people now, smile on your brother. Everybody get together, try and love one another right now. Come on, people now, smile on your brother. Everybody get together and love one another right now. When you hear the song we sing, you will understand. You hold the key to love and fear, all in your trembling hand. Just one key unlocks them both. It's there at your command. So come on, people now, smile on your brother. Everybody get together and love one another right now. Oh, come on, people now, smile on your brother. Everybody get together and love one another right now. Right now. Right now.
Good morning. I'm Beth Briggs, and I am a proud member of this Unity community, and I'm glad to be here. So today, we're moving things along. The offering basket is going to be moving during announcements, so will the greeters please stand up, and together we will bless our blessings. And what I'd like you to do, be mindful of what we're saying today. I mean, often we just throw it out, but if the greeters will please stand, and I see them back. So let's say it kind of slowly today, together. Divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, all that I have, and all that I receive. Thank you. So, once a year, Newsom teaches a class on affirmative prayer. And affirmative prayer is the basis of what we do here in Unity. On February 5th, 12th from 7 to 9, and February 22nd from 9 to 10. Newsom's going to be teaching that class. It's a required class for the prayer chaplains, and also you can get credit as a spiritual enrichment education class. Bridging the Connection Workshop, our own Reverend Tammy Johns is going to be doing a special class on February 2nd at 3 o'clock. She's working in conjunction with the Triangle Interfaith Group, and the class is called Bridging Connections Workshop. And this workshop is going to talk about the various religions and how to really respect and develop a sensitivity towards each of these religions. She's going to talk about the sacred texts, the rituals, and practices. And I think, again, this is a great way to help us come together as we understand the spiritual practices of everyone in this that we know. Book study coming up, The Art of Spiritual Healing by Joel Goldsmith is coming up. The book study starts on February 9th. There's a small supply of books on Amazon, so you might be looking in other places. The book's also available on PDF online and also with a Kindle version. We're going to do this a little differently this year. Newsom will be doing a Sunday talk about the book, and then Reverend Michael Gadway will be starting a series of classes on the book beginning February 16th at 1:30 in the Fellowship Hall, and then the existing small groups will continue with the practice with the book studies as well. And then Newsom will be doing continuing the conversation with his Thursday spiritual dialogue. And so now, will the congregational meeting begin?
Meeting. We're going to get the vibes up and ready. Together, we are going to sing Alive, Alert, Awake, Enthusiastic. And if you know Head, Shoulders, Knees, and Toes, you'll know this song. We're just saying Alive, Alert, Awake, Enthusiastic. And I got the kids with us today to sing along. So are we ready? I'm alive, alert, awake, enthusiastic. I'm alive, alert, awake, enthusiastic. I'm alive, alert, awake. I'm awake, alert, alive. I'm alive, alert, awake, enthusiastic. Again, I'm alive, alert, awake, enthusiastic. I'm alive, alert, awake, enthusiastic. I'm alive, alert, awake. I'm awake, alert, alive. I'm alive, alert, awake, enthusiastic. Faster! I'm alive, alert, awake, enthusiastic. I'm alive, alert, awake, enthusiastic. I'm alive, alert, awake. I'm awake, alert, alive. I'm alive, alert, awake, enthusiastic. Faster! I'm alive, alert, awake, enthusiastic. I'm alive, alert, awake, enthusiastic. I'm alive, alert, awake. I'm awake, alert, alive. I'm awake, alert, enthusiastic. One more, alive, or that's it. Thanks, guys. And now, Linda Rosen.
Oh my, I'm not sure how to follow that. Linda Rosen, president of the board, and I'm here with my fellow members of the board, Anya, Bill, Mike, Janine, and Frida, who's not with us. We're really excited. We're really excited to welcome you to the 2025 congregational meeting. This is our annual budget and business meeting where we discuss the important topics that help us keep our unity healthy and well and into the future. As you can tell, this is not our usual meeting. So I'm going to ask you all to take off the usual business meeting mindset and to open both your hearts and your minds to what we're going to share with you this year. And without further ado, I'd like to introduce Reverend Newsom to give us the state of our church.
Let's pray. One moment in time can set the future in a new direction. Let us be clear that as we set our intentions, we have the power to shape our future. Let us remember that when we're in the flow with the one presence, all things are possible. And so it is. Amen. I'm very happy that y'all all stayed. It's so great. We're not going to feed you anything if you leave now, so there's no good reason to leave. I want to start off by saying that 24 was a good year for us. I'll do it by the numbers first. And so the numbers are interesting, in my opinion. Our attendance was 8,000 people came on a Sunday. That doesn't count the people who are online. 8,000, it works out to about 160 people on average on a Sunday. Our income was $674,000 and change. We haven't been above $600,000 for several years, so that was a really good year for us. We didn't think we were going to get that far early, so several people, a small group of people in the congregation, decided that we needed to do something about it. We were down to about $50,000 in reserves, and yet we had about $30,000 in debt. So if you do the math on that, it was getting thin, and so they said, let's do something about it. They started the end-of-year campaign. The end-of-year campaign lasted 1 month, and we received $155,000. Now, one of the best things that happened to us in 24 was we had some new people come on staff. Yeah, I think that's exactly the right attitude. We had 3 people that either had been around us or somehow came from out of the ether, and they showed up here, but they decided that this is where they wanted to make their contribution right now in their lives. I want to introduce you to the 3 of them. We have 2 right here, and I think, oh, there's the 3rd. So, Tammy. And Tia. And Michael. It appears that they need no introduction, right? But I do want to say, if you've ever been here, well, you've actually just seen it. Tia can kind of make people do the most ridiculous things in the shortest amount of times I've ever seen. And if you were here last week, you heard Tammy stand up and deliver part of the Martin Luther King I Have a Dream speech. And Michael has been conducting these classes, and after every one he goes, how come there's so many people here? The reason is he delivers as a teacher, and one of the things we have gained this year with Michael is this idea that we are going to have a systematic way of awakening to our divine nature. And that is a powerful and compelling thing. He looks pale. I don't know, did I say something wrong? Tammy's, he does meditations on Wednesday night, which some of you have been to. He also does these one-day workshops like we had on food a couple of weeks ago. But I just think this is rounding out our possibilities. We'll still have unity classes. We'll still have the same stuff, but we'll connect it with an ancient tradition that Michael comes from. That will add to our ability to grow. And for that, I'm very grateful he's joined us. Now, if we grow, one of the things that can happen is people don't feel like they belong in the same way they used to because there's so many people, I don't know everybody. Well, you won't, hopefully. You won't know everybody because it keeps expanding. What makes a community like this thrive are small groups within the larger group. To that end, we have invited Tammy to organize more of those and to work work with the ones that are existing so that the people will have a more systematic way of connecting. We have often talked about small groups, and occasionally we've done a fair job about it, but in general, a systematic, organized, powerful person behind it, we haven't always had what we do now. And Tammy has more qualifications than Carter has liver pills. And I just want to say she's trained up and down so many ways that she knows what she's talking about. And I really am excited about Tammy. You know, she was in this congregation. She came out of this congregation, at least as far as unity is concerned, I think. And so it's a good testament to us growing people toward what their goal is in life. And Tammy wanted to be a minister, and she's great. So thank you, Tammy. Now, somebody who didn't grow up in this church, but did grow up in unity is Tia. And Tia knows things that she knows from the bones out. She doesn't have to be told or calculate or even try to drum up enthusiasm. She is enthusiasm made manifest. And her enthusiasm, the thing I like about her enthusiasm is it comes with purpose. She moves in the unity way. She draws the kids to her. The kids are going to be swamping the stage before the end of this year, because I think when you find somebody that breathes unity from the inside out, people want it. And I feel blessed that, Tia, you are here. And okay, let me just go through my slides here. I never do slides, so I don't really know how this works very well. Okay, now one of the great things about this, we've added people, we've added money, we've added attendance over the last year as well. But still, this is one of the best kept secrets in town. And many of you have said that. Why don't y'all do more about so-and-so? Well, okay, we're going to do more about it. Earlier this year, or earlier last year, we contracted with Cindy and Shelley. Cindy and Shelley. We had added staff, and we were working in silos. And it seemed to us that what we needed was more cohesion, more teamwork, more bonding, more joy with each other. So we invited them to help us with that. But also to help us, they had been working on the website and on marketing, but we asked them to actually come in as a consultant and actually do some of the things that we've been hoping to do, and to do things faster and to do things better. Now, if you don't know who these two women are, I'm going to use my joke. I married them about 7 years ago. That's a lot about me, I'm sure. I always say, I married the two of them, but I would have married either one. They are brilliant also. For years, they ran a good portion of WRAL, and that they have more experience in their little pinky. I believe you have how many? 17 regional Emmys? Is that right? They know what they're doing. And so they have come in and they have gotten the team working and laughing and playing together. Which means when the core is happy, it helps make everybody happy. And they have also decided that rather than keep us a secret, they're going to look at every easy, powerful, and expansive way of letting the world know who we are. And they're working on that with us now. So you don't have to say, no, not Unitarian unity in the future. So that makes me very happy, and I think it makes us very much more powerful than we have been. It means that with the marketing, with the teachings, with the organizing, and with someone to lead the youth, we are poised to be the church that we want to be. And while we may grow faster than this, I think one of the things we should do is set some goals and intentions. So we're going to expand the marketing, expand the teachings, expand the youth program, and expand the outreach. And for that, some numbers will come up. We're currently about 170 people on a Sunday. I think a reasonable goal, and I mean reasonable, not very expansive, not heroic. Unfortunately, I'm just playing down to my modest, I'm trying to be modest anyway, 250 on a Sunday, 40 in youth attendance, and we'll meet the budget of 675, which we did this year. So those are our number goals for next year. I think if we meet those goals, we will be proud and happy with ourselves. But I also think they could easily go beyond that, because one of the things that happens is that churches don't always grow slowly. They sometimes jump. And I think we're poised to jump. To do that, though, however, to do that is not the staff's job. It's your job. You need to tell some of your friends that it would work to be here, that it's not for everybody. Granted, we probably don't even want everybody. But think about the people for whom this could be comforting, inspiring, community building, making them feel more at home, helping them find their way to what they've always wanted to be. Think of those people, and then you can ask them to come directly on a Sunday, or you could even say, here's a short, which we produce every week, here's a short of about a minute, you can watch this, and if you like that, you can watch 30 minutes, and if you like that, you can watch the whole hour of what we do. And you will know who we are by just simply watching on TV. So your risk is minuscule. I mean, if you do a TikTok and you show somebody dancing, can't you show them some way to find their community, their home? Can't you take that little risk? I mean, anyway, so that's your job, to invite people, to bring them here. And when they're here, notice somebody is new and go, hey, I don't think I know you. Have I not met you before? Generally, if you're like me, you can't remember. But so figure out a nice way of inviting the next person in. I think you'll be happy you did. Wouldn't it be nice to have your friends here? The ones that aren't already here? Wouldn't that be nice? Okay, so that's my pitch. I'm very excited about this year. You would think by now I'd be bored with it all, wouldn't you? But I'm not. Now, to set our intention on that, because this is our year of intention, we're going to talk about money, because it's going to take money. It always does, doesn't it? We're going to talk about money, but I want you to think about how you can contribute. We're not pressuring anybody, we're inviting. We really invite you to step up. So I would like to invite Josette Lacey to come up here. Josette was on the board last year. She's been involved with this creation of this campaign. And when Josette speaks, we listen. So Josette, thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's a pleasure to be a part of this community. And one of the things that Newsom said that took me back to one of my first experiences with Unity is we are the light of the world. We can be the light of the world. Well, my first trip to Unity was a church that I didn't know very well. I went with my husband, who was then just a guy I was dating. And I walked into the church and I felt something different, didn't know what it was. And then I started looking around and seeing people that I knew from my community. I was in Evanston, Illinois. And these were people that I knew from in the community, served on boards with me, you know, met them in other places, in the schools. And they were always people that I had so much admiration for. They were open, they were approachable, they had vision, they had purpose, and I had always admired them. And there were like 8 of them in that church. And I realized then that it was the church. Maybe it was them, maybe it was the church, maybe it was the combination. But truly, people who are in this community, in unity communities, they exude a certain power and passion and commitment and purpose. And so I said, well, I kind of like this place. I want to be with them. So I've been with it now for, oh my gosh, 17 years. So it's just an honor to be a part of this unity community. And for some reason, I always get involved in the campaigns to raise money. Don't know why, but I've been in 3 major churches where I was always on the campaign to raise money. I'm doing it here because I have found my spiritual home. I have found my tribe. My tribe doesn't look anything like the tribe I envisioned when I was in Catholic school. Not at all. Or when I was attending my grandfather's Methodist church. Not at all. And so being able to find a place where I can grow spiritually with other companions has just been the joy of my life. This church does not do this often, and I was a little surprised when I didn't get a requirement to tithe or my tithing card or my envelopes to put my offering in. And I thought, oh, this is nice. Okay, this is kind of cool. But then when I went on the board, I realized a church, like everything else, needs financial support if it's going to be successful. And so we're launching this not because we're afraid, but because we know we can grow and we need your support. This is the year of intent, and one of the things that I thought about in putting this together is it's like you can make an intent, but then you have to fuel it. So you say you're going to exercise, so you go out, you get a gym membership, you buy new equipment, you buy new clothes so you can look cute as you're trying to be cuter. And then it just sits by the wayside. We're not doing that this year. We're not doing that yet. We're going to put our intention, our actions, our thoughts, and our resources behind the kind of community that we want to continue to grow and to enhance. So this week you will be getting a letter from Newsom, a beautifully written letter. We spent hours working on a letter. He comes in, writes the whole thing over again, and it's so much better. Thank you so much, Newsom. I wish you'd just done it at the beginning. That would have saved us a little time. But it really talks about what this campaign is going to mean to the church. And so one of the things that he had on the slide that I thought was our intentions, talks about how do we continue to provide Sunday services that have inspiring messages. We have Newsom here, but when he goes away, he always has someone who comes in and shares that kind of message with us. We need to make sure that we are the place that everybody wants to be on Sunday morning. Classes for spiritual engagement and growth. I happen to be a prayer chaplain, which meant I had to take the affirmative prayer class and some other classes to be prepared for that. But those kind of programs are life-changing. So whatever track you're on, that has the potential to change your life. The robust youth programming. I used to be a Sunday school teacher. I know, believe it or not, I was a Sunday school teacher at a Catholic school, a Catholic church. Boy, have I come a long way. Long way. But the youth, that is the future of our community. And when I see people like Tia, who grew up in this faith, or Anya, who's on the board now, grew up in unity, there are a number of you who had that experience. I wish I had had that experience. It would have made so much of my younger life a little easier. Not perfect, but certainly easier. Outreach, so important. We don't live on an island. We have people on this island with us that are suffering, that have gifts to give, and who we have gifts to give. So opening ourselves up to the larger community not only will help us get more butts and seats on Sunday, it will help us understand other perspectives of our community around us. And this is one that was not on the list, and I think it was really important, so I added it. We've got to be good stewards of this amazing facility. This church is so daggone beautiful that I was standing in the hallway upstairs and happened to look at it, the round window, the stained glass window, and the sun was just coming in, and it was just a glorious experience. to keep this going, to make it the kind of place where we want to come and worship, we have to be good stewards of this facility, which means having the money to make sure that we keep up the physical plant to make it the place where we want to be ourselves and to invite our guests. So you'll receive a letter this week from Newsom. We sent it out yesterday. You'll probably get it Tuesday or Wednesday, depending upon how quickly your mail gets delivered. But in it, it has a little pledge card. Now, I don't know about you. I don't really like pledge cards, okay? Really don't like them because they get lost. I can't remember where I'm supposed to send them to. I don't have a stamp. Don't want to go to the post office. So Shelley, bless your heart, thank you, God, decided to create a way to do that on our website. So you can go to the website, the Unity website, click on the orange donate button, and it will take you to the page on our generosity campaign. You can do everything online. You can set your amount that you want to give. You can also set how you want to give it, and you can even put it in on consistent giving by providing your bank information. So all that is available. Now, if you don't see the orange donate button, I was on the website 3 times before I realized that it was even there because I'm looking in the middle. There's another little box in the middle that talks about make your pledge. You can click on that button. It will also take you to that same information. So you don't have to worry about filling this out if this is just something you don't like to do. We can make it very, very easy to do this online. Now, the last thing I want to say is it's a story. It's a fable that I heard, that I read about, and I went and looked it up to see if it was fake news or something, but it really is a real fable, a folk tale that is told in South America. I'm not going to read all of it or say all of it because it's pretty long, but the essence of it was the forest was on fire. Massive fires taken over the forest, and having just seen everything that happened in California, it immediately caught my attention. And so all the animals became panicked and they started trying to flee and get away from the fire. There was, on the edge of the forest, a big gorge. So you're either going to burn in the fire or you're going to jump into the gorge or try to cross the gorge. So they all started fleeing, and the jaguar, who was the king of this particular part of the forest, sees a hummingbird flying into the fire. He doesn't say anything, and then he keeps moving forward, and then he sees him flying back out and then flying back in again. Finally, he stops the little hummingbird and said, "What are you doing?" And she says, "I'm putting out the fire. I'm going to try to put out the fire." And he says, "How are you doing that?" "Well, I go to a little puddle, and I get water in my beak, and I come back and I spray it on the fire." He's like, "That doesn't sound like a very smart idea. Why are you doing that?" "This is my home," she said. "This is where my friends are. This is where my family is. This is where I feel safe and secure. I've got to do my part to make sure that it's here for me." So he says, "Okay, well, good luck," and he continues on. Well, pretty soon, everybody's looking at this hummingbird going back and forth, and so finally the jaguar explains what the hummingbird is doing. So they said, "Oh my God, that's such a big job. Can we help in some way?" They sat together and figured out that there was a larger source of water that some of the birds that were bigger could fly to and bring more water back. Some of the other animals, and they are South American animals, I could not pronounce a single name, but the tapir decided that we can dig a trench. So we don't want to go to the gorge, but we can dig a trench to keep the fire from coming over here, and we'll all be on this side of the trench. So they all got really, really busy doing this. And they were so busy that they didn't even realize that the rain had started to come. It had started to fall softly, softly, softly. The trench was dug. They were safe on this side of the trench. And at the end of the day, the jaguar and the hummingbird were sitting together, and he put his paw on her body and said, "Thank you for inspiring us to do our part." And that's a story that grandmothers tell their children and their grandchildren about always doing your part, no matter how large or how small, it all counts. So I hope you'll keep that in mind as you look at the pledge cards that come in or go on the website. We really appreciate you. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Bill Holt. I'm the treasurer and on the board this year. And I want to present to you today the budget for this year and ask if there's any questions anyone has and then vote on it. So on the first screen up here, I wanted to do a diagram of our basic expenses so you can see where our money is spent. And the large percentage of it is 53% for our budget is personnel, which includes all the staff, all the cleaning staff, the accounting, the musicians, the guest musicians at Christmas concerts, and all those different people, payroll taxes, and other people that help support the church. The next category is the building. That's about 25%. And the building includes all of our costs, including our mortgage and our repairs and our PPOA costs that we have to pay, which is it's like our HOA, it's our community here. We have to pay in dues to hold reserves to keep up our parking lot, our trash, our lighting outside, and keep a reserve for the repairs for the building in the future. And then we have tithes is really 10%, but due to rounding, it shows 9 up there. What tithes is really is money that we pay out of our contributions here at Unity to other major Unity organizations and nonprofits here in the community, like Oak City Cares is one. Other nonprofits gets a portion of that too. And then that leaves 13% is what we have, which is, general expenses like Sunday food, office supplies, postage, the copier machine, internet, telephone, all these different categories I've combined into that. So I just want to give you a quick diagram of that to give you an idea where all the expenses are. The building expenses are pretty generic and set. There's not much we can do with that because we have a payment to make and a PPOA, and that's what majority of that is besides insurance and repairs. And so on the budget, the next page here, the first page is showing the revenue. And if you'll see, I got 2024 up there, and you'll see the contributions 24 are a little bit higher than what we budgeted this year because a lot of that year-end campaign was recorded last year. Some of it's recorded this year. And so we actually got $155,000, but we only really received $125,000 last year. So the rest of it will be reported in January of this year. And then we have rental and other categories is class fees, bookstore income, and interest income on a CD we have. So we've got our budget for this, for our expenses this year, we have allocated these categories here, and we have our actual for the building portion. And you'll see that the insurance is $7,000, repairs $8,000. These are just estimates. Mortgage and interest, that is an actual $79,901 is the total payments we make over this year for our loan at the bank. We estimate $4,000 for utilities, which it has gone down over the past couple of years due to the solar panels. We want to go back to doing the building reserve. We had kind of slowed down on that since the pandemic, where we take $12,000 a year and put it into a separate account and save that money for emergencies, in addition to the other reserves that we have for like HVAC systems, repairs, major events that happen. And then we have PPOA dues. Right now, that we project that for this year of $52,278, which is paid it's paid in equal quarters over the year. And then our other expenses are administrative, is all the other expenses, office expenses that we talked about earlier, advertising and marketing, personnel, and tithes to Unity charities. And we've budgeted those amounts for that. So our budget will equal $644,000 of revenue and $644,000 of expenses for the year. You'll see last year I put a net income column over there. That's what we were able to retain, to earn. And we hope this year we can do the same thing, but we're budgeting for kind of a break-even year. We want to make sure that we can plan for that. And Is there any questions on the budget? I'd be glad to answer anything you may have. Yes, Dan, Mike. PPOA is called Property Owners Association. It's more of a commercial. You're used to hearing HOA, which is home. So if you live in a condo community, you have that. Well, we live in a condo-like community here. Our home here is. So we have to pay money to an association of the other owners in this park that's used to pay for certain expenses that we don't pay, like trash pickup, the lighting, and they hold reserves to do repairs to like the parking lot, eventually the roof on the building and anything outside of the building. And there's a board that handles all of that, and one of our members is on that board, and actually he's the president. So, yeah, but yeah, Mary.
Is there a percentage cap on the amount that they can increase those dues every year? I've been on boards where there's been a 3% cap per year. Others are tied to the cost of living. And some, like some of these long-term care facilities we now have in Raleigh, don't have any cap. And they'll go up 12% one year and 3 the next and 9 the next. Is there a cap on the amount of money that they charge?
I don't think so.
You know what that might be?
I don't think there is a cap on that. We have the advantage of being the largest owner of property in this association, and one of our members, David Johnson, is on the board and the president. So if there is an extra charge, which it could be, because it would be needed, like a major thing happens that requires us to do something. And, if we weren't a part of the community here, we'd have to have that anyway. So I don't think as far as collecting money, there is an actual legal cap. I might be wrong, but I can find out. But anybody got anything else? Yeah, Darla.
Well, this question, I guess, is so that we'll all know, but when we do our pledges, if we're already doing automatic giving, do you want us to still pledge what we still want to continue doing?
Yeah, the pledge is a separate event. You're just pledging. If you want to do automatic giving with the pledge, you kind of need to let the church know.
We're already doing it.
Right.
Do we still need to pledge it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just so you'll know.
Just so we'll know. We're going to get all because some people don't do automatic giving, and we want to just total up all the pledges. And the reason we do the pledges is like a lot of other churches do, is we want to be able to plan our budget and to know in advance what we can expect for the year. Any other questions? Are you ready to approve the budget? You want to vote on the budget? All those in favor? Aye. Any of those against? Well, thank you. And I'm going to introduce Janine next to go for the leadership selection.
Good morning, everybody. I am so pleased that we have him to manage the budget part, because I just sit there at the meetings and go, yeah, I understand a lot more about what it takes to make all this work for us since I've been on the board. So my job here is, I've been on the board now, this is my 3rd year. I was president 2 years. This year I'm vice president, and that person has the task of this leadership selection ministry. So let me explain a little bit about that, because all of the people I grabbed and got to vote said, you got 5 people for 5 positions. Why are we doing this? Well, as a nonprofit church, we have to play by the rules of the bylaws. Years ago when I was on the board, the first time, we voted as a congregation in a meeting like this directly for who was going to be on the board. People stood up, introduced themselves, we passed around the ballot, and at the end of the meeting, 2 people got chosen and the other 3 were not. A popularity contest. It's very unpleasant if you're the ones who didn't get elected. So eventually they came up with this compromise to have this system of selecting our leadership for the community. So in the bylaws, it states that we will select this group of candidates who will then interview all of the people that have been brought up for a nomination to be on the board and make a determination about who it is that's going to be the best fit for the jobs on the board. Obviously, we have to have a president, vice president, treasurer, secretary, and 2 at-large positions. And every year, there's 6 of us, 2 roll off, and the other 4 continue. And so this year, we have actually 3 rolling off because I took over somebody's 3rd year. It's a 3-year commitment to be on the board. So I served the 3rd year of somebody else's and 2 years of my own term. I'm rolling off, and we're going to need 1 candidate that can do that 3rd year of my term, so they only need to serve 1 year. And we're going to need 2 board members to serve 3-year terms. And we need them to be able to fulfill the particular needs that we have on the board for skills, like having somebody who manages the money and understands all these things is critically important. The board is responsible for making sure that all of your needs are considered and provided for in the best way possible. We work closely with Newsom on the board. And I want you to think about the fact that we have a minister who has been here 23 years. This is some kind of a record in church communities. And he has worked collaboratively with every one of the boards that has been here. When I was on it before, it was amazing. We were making decisions about where we were going to go after we left downtown and, could we stay there? It's a lot of responsibility, and you need to have wise people to work with that. He was always amazing to work with in a collaborative manner. It's not like you'd come in and sit with the king and do what he says. It's a really collaborative job. So any of you who might be interested in participating as a board member, please speak to me or one of the other leadership selection ministry people that we are about to announce. So there's this process defined in the bylaws. Every February, this committee will do interviews for candidates for the board and then select those board members. And then in April, we convene the new board with the new group of 6 people. So that's the process, and then let me introduce you to the ones here. So this was because of the fact that we didn't want to do a popularity contest method. I solicited a lot of people and said, would you stand for the leadership selection ministry? And I got the, oh, that's not really something I could do. So I was very pleased to get these 5 who really are quite capable. It's a 5-member committee. So we got 5 people, and you're voting, and it's like, well, why should I have to vote? You're authorizing the board to proceed with this process. That's what it came down to, because we had exactly the same number. So I'm going to ask each of these folks to stand and stay standing until we've seen all of them. These were all selected. We had 98 of you members vote. I was very pleased with that turnout. Terry Fitzgerald. Please stand. Carl Good. David Johnson, he's in the booth. Everybody knows David. Diane McDaniel, I know I saw you here. There she is, oh, turquoise. And Kevin Strike right behind her. And a lot of you know all of these people. They will work with me and Newsom to interview candidates and select the right ones to help us proceed with our intentions for the new year. So thank you all. And I'm going to take one more second. You notice I'm one of those people I've got on 2 name tags. So serving on the board, I use my mind, my very well-trained mind with all these spiritual principles, But when I serve as a prayer chaplain, which is my other job, it's more heart-centered. And what I've been able to do by being in these positions is develop both my heart and mind so they work together beautifully. If you have any inkling that you would like to participate as a prayer chaplain, I highly recommend it. It is transformative. It's a great service, but it'll change you at depth. So please consider it. Well, thank you, and I think now we're back to Newsom.
We have food for you out in the fellowship hall, so don't worry. Coffee too. I just want to thank you all for staying, and we're going to finish with a prayer, and in so doing, we're going to put a seal on this. This is our intention for the year. Let us as a community grow into what we have decided to do. Let us pray. Let us visualize for a moment how we want this community to unfold in the near future. Becoming stronger, deeper, happier, more generous, more free, more loving. Let us be what we came to be in this life. Let us be the light. And so it is, with our hearts open. Amen. Let's eat.
We let the love wash over us. We let it be. We let the love wash over us. We let it be. Let the love, we let the love wash over us. We let it be. The light of God surrounds us.
I am the light of God.
The love of God enfolds us.
I am the love of God.
The power of God protects us.
I am the power of God.
The presence of God watches over us.
I am the presence of God.
Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.